Hey guys, what's up? My name is Caitlin. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I just got my hair done and I'm feeling pretty fly today. But today I am here to talk to you guys about self-care. And I'm not talking about like the bubble baths or eating a pint of ice cream to make yourself feel better, YOLO. Like there's a time and place for those things, but that's not what I want to talk about today. I did a little bit of research and I took some notes. Turns out self-care, so the definition is taking care of your mental, emotional, and physical needs. And I didn't realize that self-care was split into like 3 departments, I guess. And so we're going to just kind of go over that, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to take care of yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally. So I'm going to give you 20 tips on how to take care of yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally, just self-care, because self-care is really important. So I'm going to start with physical tips, and 6 things to do to take care of your physical health is number 1, eat well. Like food is so important, and like I have experimented with going dairy and gluten-free and limiting sugar, and like it makes a big difference. Like I feel so much better versus when I'm eating junk. And the only downside is, like, to me, it feels like it's not as convenient, and so, like, in our fast-paced society, like, convenience is huge. So you just have to prepare. So, yeah, eat well, like fruits, vegetables, meat, like whole foods, like, you'll be feeling really good. Tip number 2 is hydrate. Water is so important. I've been drinking a gallon of water a day, and I know that sounds like a lot, but it is recommended that adults, or I think people in general, should drink half their body weight in water. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you should be drinking a little bit more than 8 glasses of water, so 75 ounces of water, because it's good for you. Tip number 3 is move your body. It doesn't have to be anything extreme. It could be going for a 30-minute walk. It could be doing some stretching or some yoga. Maybe you want to lift some weights. Maybe you want to go for a jog or like do some cardio. Maybe you want to just dance in your living room, but like moving your body, like there's so many benefits to it. Like it helps, it boosts your endorphins. It's just really healthy for you. Tip number 4 is get enough sleep. Like there's so many benefits to getting enough sleep. I know I'm a lot more pleasant to be around, and I just feel so much better when I get my beauty sleep. Tip number 5 is rest when you need to. If you need to take an afternoon nap, do it. If you've been working hard on your feet all day, you got home from an 8-hour shift, like sit on the couch and take a break. Like allow yourself to rest. Tip number 6 is go to the doctor when you're sick. I feel like I'm not the best at this, and also we're not even going to get into like our healthcare system, but like if you're actually sick, you should probably go to the doctor and not muscle your way through it if there's something serious. Like go to the doctor if you need to. So I didn't entirely know the difference between like mental health and emotional health. So like mental self-care versus emotional self-care. And turns out the difference is like thinking versus expressing. So thinking is like pure mental, and then your expression of those thoughts is the emotional side of it. So here is some self-care ideas for your mental self-care. Tip number 7 out of all the tips is practice mindfulness. I feel like we rush around life and we're eating food, we're multitasking. We're eating food and scrolling through Instagram, we've got the TV in the background, and you're not even tasting your food because you're literally not paying attention. So like mindfulness of literally just being present with your food, being present with yourself, like even simply as like sitting there and like focusing on your breath, like being in the moment. I'm not the best at that. But it's a work in progress, and I know if I actually paid attention to being in the here and the now, I'd probably feel less stress. Speaking of stress, number 8 is manage your stress and take a break. I feel like taking a break is a theme here, but also managing stress. Stress is so bad for your health, and a lot of times it's our thoughts that make us stressed. It's not even the situation that makes us stressed, it's the thoughts about the situation that induces stress. So learning how to manage that and like work on your mindset, that's really going to help your like mental health and like that's how you self-care for your mental health, I guess. Stress is also really bad for your health overall. So I highly recommend not stressing. Easier said than done. Tip number 9 is read a book or listen to an audiobook. Another thing I read on the internet somewhere was that like mental health, like mental self-care is making your brain sharp. So like sometimes just learning, like reading a book, listening to an audiobook, or like a podcast, or taking like some sort of masterclass, like that can like get your brain sharp. And I just love learning. That's just me. But I highly recommend it. Number 10 is practice gratitude. Sometimes we kind of just forget to focus on what we're grateful for. And like what you focus on, like you attract more of. But literally just sit down and write what you're grateful for. I do. So every day I actually do a magical morning practice, and I'll explain what that is at a later date. So that's another video. But I send my friend a voice memo, and every day I tell her, I'm like, today I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful for my boyfriend. I'm grateful for my house. Like I'll send her this amazing voice memo. And then after she listens to it, she returns the favor and sends me one telling me what she's grateful for. And it makes such a difference. Like, it's amazing. So send your bestie a voice memo saying what you're grateful for. It will make you feel better. Tip number 11 is meditate. I feel like that's just a mental exercise in general, and it can, like, you don't have to clear your mind, but literally just like focusing on one thing, your breath. So that's also like a mindfulness practice. It can be hard. I don't meditate very often, and it's not something that comes easy for me, but if I actually practiced it, like, it'd probably be very beneficial. So, and also there's a lot of like good benefits to meditating, like it's good for your health. So maybe that could be your thing. Tip number 12 is avoid toxic people and learn how to say no. Like, toxic people can just drain you mentally, and you just want to like spend less time with them, or no time if possible. Like if they are toxic and harmful to your mental health, that they gotta go, or you gotta leave and be like, hey, bye. Like we're not gonna allow toxic people in 2022. Okay, that is the mood. So you better wrap that up before the end of the year, because no more. How about that? Also say no. Like if someone asks you to babysit their dog, but you really don't want to, you should probably just tell them you really don't want to. Because honestly, when you say yes to things you don't want to say yes to, like, you're just going to be resentful and mad and stressed, and all of that's bad for your health. So if you don't want to do something for someone, just say, hey, thanks for thinking of me, but no thank you. I got plans, or I'm busy, or I just don't want to. Maybe my brother would rather do it. Volunteer someone else. I'm just kidding. Now for my emotional self-care tips. So tip number 13 of all of my tips today is journal. So every morning I actually do morning pages. It's from The Artist's Way, but basically I have a specific notebook and I fill out 3 full pages every morning before I really do anything. Like I get up and scrape my tongue, and then I go hide in my office and I journal for 20 minutes. It takes me about 20 minutes to fill out these pages, and it literally is just journaling anything that comes to my mind. And I do this at like 4 in the morning because I have this thing called a job and I have to be there at 6. So I gotta get back so early to do my morning pages and then send my friend my voice memo, right? But I've been doing that for 5 weeks now, like without missing a day, even though it's tempting to sleep in at 4 in the morning. And it has made a huge difference. Like, I've had all kinds of like ideas and just like aha moments from just writing things. It's like, I've let the clowns of my past like dictate my present. Okay, I'm done with that. Like, oh my gosh, I've allowed to be treated not great. It's like, hey, I'm done with that. Like, all these things. And it's just been from journaling, whatever. Mostly it's like, I want to be successful. But like, your brain is so powerful, and sometimes you just gotta brain dump first thing in the morning and then move on with your day. And it's powerful, and I highly recommend journaling any time of day, but I highly recommend doing morning pages because that is what I do and it helps so much. Tip number 14 is do something creative to express your emotions. So maybe you want to write some poems, maybe you want to sing a song, maybe you want to make art, like go draw, go journal, or go dance. Go do something to like let out that emotional energy. Maybe it's paint a painting or sculpt a sculpture or do something. But sometimes just like using our emotions and doing something to express them can make us feel better. Tip number 15 is surround yourself with positive people. Like you become the sum of the 5 people you hang out with. So if you're hanging out with Debbie Downers and people that don't inspire you and people that you don't really want to be around, like you need to go find yourself some positive people who are going to hype you up and lift you up, that actually inspire you, like that are going in places where you want to go in life. Like you want to hang out with those people, and they're definitely going to help your overall health, but especially your emotional health, because they're going to influence your feelings. And if they're focused on gratitude and bettering their lives and like being successful and taking action versus like complaining and staying stuck, like they're just going to rub off on you, and you're going to be like, hey, that's where I'm heading now, you know? So pick better friends, honestly. So remember the not hanging out toxic people in 2022? Yeah, pick some better friends. That's what we're doing. So you got a few weeks till the new year, so get with it. Tip number 16 is learn to forgive yourself. Oh, this one can be a challenge. And I actually did a 30-day forgiveness challenge. I'm going to link that video up here somewhere. Because I was holding on to so much like pain and resentment towards myself for all these little things. All of these things were holding me back, and like just beating myself up over things from the past in general. Literally, forgiveness like made me feel so much better physically, because we actually store emotions in our body. And sometimes those emotions are tied to not forgiving ourselves for mistakes or embarrassing things, just stuff that makes us less than perfect. You know, and it's like, oh, well, I wish I would have done this, or I wouldn't have done that, or, you know, I wish I could tell this person I was sorry, and I wish, you know, all these things. You've got to forgive yourself and let that go. Not an easy task. Go check out my video, and it's a practice, a forgiveness practice. So you got to practice forgiving yourself, because it's not something we're really taught to do. And some people carry pain, like, throughout their whole life. Like, they just hate themselves and they don't want to change. But change is possible. Forgiveness is possible. Forgiving those that have hurt you is possible. It's a work in progress for me. But you know what? You don't have to carry that pain throughout your whole life. And sometimes our biggest pains come from not forgiving ourselves. So if you take anything from this video, it's ditch toxic people, but then also forgive yourself for hanging out with the toxic people, okay? So, you know, forgiveness is so freaking important. Tip number 17 is ask for help. So, I used to never ask for help ever. I was stressed 24/7. It was so bad. I'm like, I can do everything. No, I couldn't. And I finally had like a meltdown, and I was just like, why, what's my deal? And it was because I needed help at work because I was overwhelmed. Hello, Corona. And instead of asking for help, I was literally going to just leave the buildings that I cleaned, because I'm a janitor. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too hard. Gotta go. But it's like, if I just asked for help, like that would have resolved my problem. And it was once I was given help that I was like, oh, that's all I needed. Can I continue to get this help that I didn't know that I needed? Well, maybe I knew that I needed it, but I wasn't going to ask for it, you know? So something that really helped me was I did a video on being ashamed of asking for help, an EFT video by Brad Yates. Literally, I sobbed my eyeballs out because I just was ashamed to ask for help. Like, I thought it wasn't okay. And so that was all of these awful emotions. Like, I can't ask for help. I have to figure it out. I have to hold it all together. I have to, you know, like, you know how I said most stress is self-induced from your thoughts? So anyways, EFT helped me with that. So like, and I'm a lot better at asking for help. So check out that video. I'll link it somewhere. If you struggle with asking for help, that will help you. Tip number 18, get curious about your emotions versus judging them. Sometimes we think, oh, well, that happened so long ago, I should be over it. But like, time doesn't necessarily heal Like, we like to think that time heals everything, but, like, it kind of doesn't. And so you really have to get curious about your emotions. It's like, hey, I'm frustrated at this situation. Well, why? Well, it reminded me of this one time that so-and-so made me mad. Okay, well, why? Well, because they should have, done all these things and they treated me poorly, and I'm frustrated that I didn't speak up. Okay, so you're frustrated now. Are you also not speaking up now? Kind of like, instead of being like, oh, just get over it, like, be like, okay, why am I feeling these things? It's like, oh, usually they're tied to things from the past. And maybe not. But just get curious about it instead of just judging yourself, being like, I should be over this. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't care. Like, be curious about your thoughts, feelings, and emotions instead of judgmental and just judgy. Quit it. And then tip number 19 is talk to someone how you're feeling. That could be a trusted friend, that could be a trusted family member, or it could be like a professional. Now, don't be ashamed for getting help if you need it, professional help, or just confiding in a friend. Like, my friends, I have really good friends, which I am so grateful for, but it's like, if I'm struggling, I can just open up to them, and they're kind of older than me, because I'm 25, and my friends are like 30-ish. One of my friends is like, yeah, I remember when I was in 25 and made some dumb mistakes. Like, yeah, he'll be fine, right? It's like, oh, it's not, like, we feel like we're an island and we're struggling all by ourselves and we never tell anyone. But it's like, when you start to tell people, you realize that you're not so alone. And sometimes just the act of opening up can make you feel a lot better. And sometimes you actually need professional help to help you navigate the situation instead of just venting and realizing you're not alone. Sometimes you need an actual solution that maybe your friends cannot offer you. So it's kind of up to you to decide, like, if you need professional help or if just venting to your friends occasionally, not all the time. Don't just go dumping all of your emotional crap onto them, right? But when it's appropriate, your friends should be there to help you if they're good friends, right? No more toxic people. We're walking the other way. And last but not least, tip number 20, when it comes to, like, overall self-care, my biggest tip is doing EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. Literally, this has changed my life. Like, I have released so much emotions and helped just heal overall by doing EFT. So, check out Brad Yates, check out Gala Darling, and I'm getting certified in EFT. Like, I'm so excited, and because literally it has changed my life that much that it's like, I need to teach this to everyone. So, that is coming up in 2022. I'm getting certified to teach EFT, and I'm so freaking excited. But, like, if it wasn't, like, important and didn't actually change my life, like, I wouldn't go do this, right? So, like, I highly recommend everyone does it. Like, go do the tapping about being ashamed for asking for help. And just do any emotion that you're feeling. Depression, sadness, stress, overwhelm, all of those, like, negative emotions. Brad Yates has a tapping video on it, I promise. So, go check it out. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Because it's changed my life. And now I'm here chatting with you guys, telling you how to do some self-care, and I need to listen to some of these notes as well. But yeah. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope you learned something, because I did by doing some research, so kind of cool. Anyways, I'm so ready for the new year, and I'm really excited, and I hope you're excited too, and I hope you enjoy the rest of 2021, or whenever you're watching this, just enjoy your life. So, thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous day. Bye.